Hey, Top Shelf, welcome back, you guys. So happy to see you all. See you all, you know what I mean. One day we'll see you in person.
Yes.
But shout out to my co-hosts Kenya and Erica. We are back with
Oh,
another one, DJ Khaled. Okay.
Whoop,
Um,
whoop, whoop.
so we had such a great conversation
yeah.
about dating last time. So we're just gonna keep the show rolling. There's so much nuance in dating, and so we're just gonna talk about as much of it as we can until you guys get bored. You can be like, okay, we enough, let's go on to other things, but here we are today.
We're on that
So
dating boot camp.
dating boot
Dating
camp,
boot camp.
that's right. So I'm putting say this at the top,
That ex-
like, yeah, go ahead, Kenya.
now you said boot camp. That means we're gonna be sweating.
I mean, sometimes they do make you perspire a little bit. So whether it's
Glisten,
nervousness
glow.
or anxiety, people getting on your nerves, or you happy. Some people can just, get
They
all hot and
glow.
bothered, and that's a thing that happens in dating too. So yeah. Um, so family, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That's the thing that we
Yes.
do around here. And also Top Shelf. So if you aren't familiar with who we are, what we're doing here, we are people who want to thrive and do the best we can in this life. So we want to live at the top, be at the top, excel. So that's the top. And then Shelf, we are singles helping each other love, live, and laugh together with faith. I put that together in there's no T in Shelf, but you know what I mean. But we're in this community together to lift one another up in kindness. We're here to be transparent and to give you some action items, some steps, something tangible that you can walk away with to make your top shelf life better. So, what we
Yes.
are talking about today is what we want to gain from dating. What can you gain from dating? All right, ladies, who wants to start?
Well, I'll go in. So, if you didn't watch the last episode, find it. Find it on our channel. They're
Mhm.
all on there. Just Top Shelf. This is Top Shelf. We talked about are you ready? Asking. So now I guess we're at the point where we decided, yes, we're ready.
Mhm.
And then what do you want to gain? So this is for the folks that said, yes, I'm ready. So I feel like this is a really, really important step for each person to do so that they can be honest and clear in their communications as they learn people,
Yeah.
right? So if you just meet a happy go lucky person that's just trying to kick it, they just want someone to go to the movies with once a month. And that's when you hear from, and that's not for you. You wanted something more serious. Or maybe let's flip it. They want something serious and you just want to go play tennis every now and again. I think understanding yourself and your desires is ultimately terribly important
Mhm.
because there's mismatches that can happen everywhere. So dating, at least I consider this, is collecting data. And I remember dating a person who loved to watch sports, which is fine. But that was all. They just loved to watch them. And so when I wanted to go on walks or bike rides, they didn't want to do that. That was a mismatch. I knew that I like activity in my life
Mhm.
and that it was not going to. So I had to walk away, and it's
Yeah.
okay. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I love that. Thanks, Erica. That you I think there's a lot of things. Remember, I said that it is so important for you to know your purpose. Why are what you out here doing, right?
Hmm.
Are you looking to be married? Are you just want companionship? Are you
Right.
just wanting to socialize? Like, what is your purpose in the dating? I think. And so once you have identified that you're in a healed and peaceful place to do it,
Hmm.
that's the next question. Because for me, I think if I was in a space where I just want to kick it, I would make sure that is identified up front.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
We got to be clear,
Honest.
ladies, and we
Very clear.
hey, and
Hmm.
it is so important. You know that you're healthy when you're You don't have nothing to prove, nothing to gain,
Mm-hmm.
or nothing to lose by speaking your truth, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you
Yes.
being upfront, truthful, I'm just out here to just, so that's only fair because that gives them an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to decide, do they even want to kick it with you, or if
That's
they want
right.
to stop. It's
Yes.
only fair, right? And again, like myself, I'm just not a dater like that. For me, um, if I was dating, I would have expressed, well, like I did with who I'm with now, right? No, I'm looking to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm
Mm-hmm.
at. If you ain't
Yeah.
there, you know what I'm saying? And so you
Yes.
let that be known, right? So that they
Yes.
make a decision, make a decision. And here's the other piece. For some reason, we forget in my prayer room, I've got a map of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got one little stick pin of where I am. And I did this long time ago when I was going through my divorce. And it was a way of me healing to understand how big the world is. There's not just one person, two people. We're talking about billions of people. And now,
Yeah.
social media, you have access to billions of people. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to come to a place and accept that just because it's not that one person doesn't work doesn't mean like there's not a whole slew of other people out there, right? So
True. That's true.
Yes.
that's a mindset change, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll also add that there's a difference of being clear about what your goals are and what your standards are. So we have this idea in our mind. This is what I want, right? But when the opportunities come, sometimes they don't look like that. And so they would be like, well, do I go for this because this is what I got on these are the options that I got right now? So are you willing to be honest with yourself about where you really are. Okay, so you want to get married, but are you dating people who don't? Okay, it's like make it make sense. Just say and do. Let your words and your actions be consistent. Or you say you having a good time, and then you are with somebody who is very serious about like I want to lock it down in 6 months. Just be very clear. I think that helps with your own heartbreak is also protecting the other person as well.
Yes.
So you reducing the toxicity, reducing the drama. And then also the willingness, if you are a person who dates multiple people at once. Like I've tried both versions, and you have to be clear if you're going to date multiple people. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
be clear about what you want so that you can more easily filter people out because you are dealing with other people's emotions,
Yes.
Their
whether or
hearts.
not
Their
they're
hearts.
just here to kick it for a good time. They still have feelings, right?
Yes.
So I got a question. So when you
Mm-hmm.
date multiple people, do you tell them that you're dating multiple people?
Yeah. So and here's the one of the I use the apps. So that is inherent. I assume that people understand that if you are using an app,
App.
you
Yeah.
are that is an option. It's an option game, right? So you meet multiple people at once. You start having conversations with multiple people at once. So there's an understanding that sometimes you have to speak out of your mouth like yes we met on an app where you get to know multiple people at once. So when you come off of that in real life, that is a conversation that I have sometimes is just be like yeah I am seeing multiple people. If you want to lock it down, that's a conversation that we have when it's the time. But
Yeah.
to Erica's point at the beginning, I'm collecting data, so are they. So I have to figure out
Yes.
if I even like you enough to be reducing my options. So but to your point, Kenya, about the communication and speaking up and being willing to let things go and being willing to like, if I gain it, great. If I lose it, that's great too. You weren't meant for me, but you
Yes.
have to know yourself well enough to be like, I can turn down this option because it does not align with what I say I want.
It's
And I would like to add that I remember something my mama used to say. Desperation has a smell.
Oh, it does.
And if you are out there, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but if you are out there and some of you, what you would like to gain is self esteem,
Mm.
it's probably not a place for you to be. Gain some of your bills paid. That's probably not a good place. There's probably some inner work
Yes.
that needs to happen
Yes.
before, because here's the thing, it says guard your heart. Our good Lord taught us to guard our heart, but we also need to treat others as we would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to guard their at them as well. And that's why we are, I think we're all saying, let's be honest on our communication with the people that we're with. We are not looking to take advantage of anyone,
That's right.
because that's just, if you're living this faith life, that's a no-no.
That's right.
And we won't even talk about some people that are get caught up in dating people that are already taken. That's not even in this conversation at all,
Mm-hmm.
although we do recognize that it does happen.
What
If that's you,
I don't know. That
huh?
sounds like a piece of bread. What you mean taken?
They got a suntan line on their finger, their left finger.
Or
I,
paperwork filled out at the courthouse. Some people don't wear rings. What the state got to say about you? What the paperwork say?
Right.
So
Not that not that they're, oh, we're not getting along. We haven't been together in so long. That we probably recommend, they can tell you if they disagree with me, that you run away. Run away.
you know what? It give me a headache talking about all that. So we got to do an episode on this app stuff. That is definitely going to.
Yes.
Well, that's a whole episode, and I am
My God.
well versed, and I don't want to be, but I know stuff.
We'll get you. Charlize will be hosting that one as well.
Okay.
I just
We could have some guests on. Hey,
Oh,
Top Shelf
yeah.
community, reach out to us and let us know if you have something that you can offer, and we'll
That's right.
talk to you. We'll talk to you. We'll consider it.
That's correct.
Okay,
TopShelfSingles@gmail.com.
TopShelfSingles@gmail.com.
yeah, I think you said this in our last episode. Charlize, I think what's really important is that you have consulted God.
God, yes. The Lord.
Yes, the good
Consult
Lord.
the Master. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Spirit is within us. I think we underestimate his task and what he does for us.
Mhm.
I'm talking about probably even, and again, I'm not an app person. I've never done it. I don't know what it feels. I know what that app dating does for me, so I don't do it, but I can even imagine just even in that Jesus, like there has to,
Discernment.
right.
Yes. Yes.
There
You're like,
has
don't
to,
swipe on that person. He will tell you if you're listening. Do not swipe on that person. Or they say something out of pocket from the jump. Unmatch now.
Mm,
Yes. Because
mm,
people are
mm.
cray.
Yeah, that's
You need the Lord in dating. And those people who don't
that's a
utilize
shirt.
the Lord,
You need the
yes,
Lord in dating.
I don't know how they do it, because we make mistakes even as Christians, and because we got our own stuff that we are always filtering through, and our own mistakes and triggers and all that kind of stuff like that. And so we failing, and we got the King. I don't know how folks do it. I don't know.
I'm getting a headache.
So back to the original question.
What do you want
What
to
do you
gain?
want to gain? So I think, speaking for myself, it changed based on the season I was in, right? In my earlier, less healed states, it was, and I didn't know this until, hindsight is 2020. Some of it was reconciling things that happened in my household. Like, I want to build a family so that I can operate in this way that I feel like my family should have operated in, right? And I didn't come from a very traumatic place. It's just that you see things and you be like, oh, I like that and I don't like that. So let me create an environment that will give me this. For example, my dad wasn't a very emotional person. And so how can I create an environment where I'm partnered with a man who is telling me about his feelings, and so and creating, showing me that soft part that I didn't necessarily grow up with in my own household. And so, but then recognizing sitting here that part of that was about how I perceived um, what my needs were growing
Yeah.
up, how I perceived what I need now. Like there's parts of parenting that I don't need anymore, right? So in earlier stages of walking through my own development, I needed things that I don't necessarily need right now. So in this stage, I'm looking for partnership. I've done my work and continuing to do my work. So going to therapy, growing my relationship with God, number one, developing my own interests so that when I'm in a relationship, I am fused to them, but not losing my own identity. Because that used to be a thing that used
Mm.
to scare me. Like I was like, I don't want to lose who I am just because I am with this person or getting married to this person. So
We've
I
all
am
seen that.
solidified. Yeah, I'm
We've
solidified in who
seen.
I am. So
Mhm.
I can date with a freedom that I was not able to in the past.
Mm.
That's right. When you, Charlize, when you said that earlier traumatized person, you took me back. And I can honestly say there, if you would have talked to her, she very much wanted to be partnered and protected.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thing. I wanted protection. Like I wanted that person that was in my corner. And since then, I had somebody in my corner that I didn't always recognize. We all have somebody in our corner. If we recognize
Yeah.
them, they will be there for you and they will not leave you. They
Mm-hmm.
will not forsake you. That's that Holy Spirit. You might say, "What?" Yeah, it's real. It's real. And so gaining intimacy in that relationship has eased all the emotional needs for, not that I don't real humans, but I can come at it at it, approach it at such a more balanced
Mm-hmm.
perspective, as opposed to, oh, I'm really yearning. It's
Mm-hmm.
not from a yearning, it's from a desire. I think I fall in the family of, yes, I think partnership, marriage is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But I also want it to be healthy. I want it to be fulfilling. And I also don't want to sleep on this season,
Mm-hmm.
which is not unenjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of autonomy. We make our own, I think we talked about this before. We make our own decisions and things like that. And we don't have to answer and explain what we buy or where we go or those things. And there's, that's not all bad. It's
Yeah.
not all bad.
I'm I think I mean that's a good point. I'm not looking for a relationship to solve any problems.
Hmm.
I worked out and working above me instead of working outwardly looking to somebody else to solve a problem. Now I just looking for a relationship to take my life to the next level. And so I think that's
Hmm.
what you need to that's important
That
to
top.
figure out. Yeah, go to the top because you cannot do life by yourself, right?
Nope.
So the it's important to identify, to be willing to be honest with yourself, to be like, what am I really in this for? And to go back to our original question from the last episode, are you ready? Because you maybe need to go back to step one and decide if
Hmm.
you are ready or not. You identify some things and like, oh, I need to go back to start.
Maybe
Okay.
we need a flow chart.
Right.
Said something. Um, the Bible says, "He who hungers and thirsts after righteousness
Mhm.
shall be filled." And
Mhm.
what I started thinking about is in the book of Ezekiel, it talks about
I'm
the
reading this as
water,
well. Mhm.
right? The water is it's first at
I
level,
need some.
goes knee level, speak
Mhm.
water, right?
Yeah.
And it goes to your waist, and then he's just floating in it, right? And that really has to be how our emotional well-being has to be, right? All those cups that I were talking about, they have to be so filled with God and God alone that when you're out there, when you say looking for something, you're not really looking for something for them to fulfill something in you, right? Right? It's a matter of
Yes.
remember in the garden, right? Remember uh, Adam was asleep, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the rib was taken out of him while he was asleep, and he looked around, what? It's not good for man to be alone, right? Look at this woman, right? So,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So you're already in a place where you are whole and complete,
Mhm.
right? And so there's that mathematics that the Lord does. He does multiplication, right? One times one and then another one, right? It's a doubling of
Yes.
what
Yeah.
God
Yes.
has. And so I think when you say what am I looking for? I think for me, if I was out there looking, and maybe I could just even use a relationship that I have now, I was looking for someone who um had the same values as I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even before that, who has a passionate about Jesus, right? That was like,
Mm.
are you passionate? Don't
Yeah.
tell me you passionate and then you don't go to church, nor do you read your Bible, nor do
Yeah.
there's this guy, I bought him a Bible, and that
Mhm.
Bible stayed in the same place.
Just collecting dust.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's so key for us to be so in a love relationship with our Heavenly Father, Jesus, that we're so full, you want to
Mm-hmm.
overpour, you want to pour out
Yes.
love that's in you because you so full of it. You know what I mean? You're so full of what God has. And so
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
love and the joy and the hope and the peace and all those other
Gentleness.
Asian
Mm.
fruits are within you. You want to just pour it out and give it to someone. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
in that, my relationship, whoop,
It's all good.
looking for
This is
that.
good.
You know what I mean? Looking for
Yeah.
someone that I can pour out what God has poured in me.
Yeah. So, Top Shelf family, in the comments, this is a place where we talk about transparency and openness. Tell us what you want to gain. Sometimes in the telling of our stories, we can get that aha moment and be like, oh, I didn't realize the way that sounded. Okay, let me either do something with it, like go back to the start, or use this information to propel me forward. So, what are you all looking to gain in this season of dating? If you're ready for that. Erica, you gonna say something?
If you're ready, and it's okay. So we want to know. And if there's this topic that is burning in your belly, and you're like, wait a minute, we really want you to get to this, put that in the chat too, right? And have you subscribed?
Yes. Again,
I'm just
like,
asking. Have
comment,
you? Have you? Have
all
you?
that.
Yes.
But yeah.
Bing, bing,
So
bing. That's notification.
that's right.
Bing, bing.
Notification.
So thank you, Top Shelf family. We have come to, I think, a good stopping point. We are coming back on this topic because why not? And then also because there's so much ground to cover. But we implore you, as we are speaking to you, as we are also speaking to ourselves, that we want
Yes.
to live the best life we can. We want to be top shelf singles, top shelf marrieds, top shelf whatever tertiary label you want. But we want to do our best in faith. Live, love, laugh, and share this environment together. So we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. We love you. Bye, Top Shelf family.